Good morning, and welcome to our channel. Welcome back. We're glad you're here. It's a sunny Saturday morning here in beautiful Puerto Rico where we are live on Love is Not Judgmental. We never want to judge love, we want to experience it and embrace it. My name is Marvin Kane. I am the host, I am your guide on this journey as we continue our discussions on age gap relationships. Yes, putting the positive where the positive belongs. These are beautiful relationships that many people are very critical about, but they do have their place in our society. So, today, this is an intriguing and sometimes controversial part about age gap relationships, and it has to do with children. So, today, we're going to be exploring the topic of having kids with a man twice your age gap love. Wow. Now, it's complex, it's a fascinating subject. So, best thing to do is just get right into it. So, age gap relationships, just kind of defining those, they're not new. They've been around for centuries. In fact, if you are a Bible reader, the first relationship was age gap. Adam was significantly older than Eve. He had many, many responsibilities that he had to take care of before she came along. So he spent decades by himself and his creator, God, talking about a variety of things. But that's if you're on the religious side of it. If you're not, but you look through history, you'll see that many famous, renowned people who had stature in our historical books and our lessons that way, they were older men married to younger women. And there's a reason for this. And it has to do with the fact that there's just a dynamic that happens when you put an older man with a younger woman. And it's a really positive and very beneficial situation. So today we're focusing on situations where there's a significant age gap difference, twice your age. So that would mean, let's say the woman, we always talk in this channel about men and women of the age and above of 24, 25 years of age and greater. And that's because of the solidification of the brain. So the woman's brain gets hard between and becomes solid between the ages of 23, 25, and men 25, 27. And that's why we say that women mature faster than men, because her brain reaches solidification a lot faster. And that's just one of the many reasons that we say this. But there are cases where younger partners, for many reasons, want to have children. And if you're an older man, let's say the woman's 25 and you're twice her age, see, one time her age would be like she's 25, you're 50. I mean, you're twice her age. You really, really are. So why would a woman have a child with a man that's two times her number? I mean, one times the number, he's the same age, he's 25, but two times the number, he's 50, right? So why would she choose to do that? Well, in some cultures, especially like I have friends, I'll talk about what I know. I have friends in the African culture, Nigeria, Ghana, and in those cultures, women are looked upon negatively if they're not married and they're in their 30s. And women are also looked down on if they don't have children in the marriage. Society has a way of just pressurizing women and those men that are their partners. Relationships are personal. How you do your relationship, how you live your relationship, how you survive in your relationship, that's your personal business. And it's not a realm that other people should delve into. That's why on this channel we talk all things relationship as guidance, not as rules that people need to make. But in that dynamic, there's a unique set of circumstances, and we're going to talk about some of those. For example, understanding the appeal of wanting to have children with someone twice their age. So there's an obvious psychological balance there, and there's also emotional reasons behind it. And like I just mentioned, it could be cultural. It could be just the way other people see marriage. Some people say, well, that's not fair because let's say it was a different scenario. Let's say it was a 30-year-old woman with a man 60 years old. So, 60, maybe he'll live to be 70, 80. We want him to live as long as he can. Forever is not a bad deal. But let's just be realistic in this world. If he dies at 70, he would only see his child at 10 years age, 10 years of age. If he dies at 80, he would only see his child through the teenage years into his 20s. Some people seem to have a problem with that, but you got to understand, we are originally here to procreate. That was the first reason for humans. Like, be here. Of course, you honor your creator, but you also are here to keep the race going. And we've already learned in reality that tragedy happens. Now, tragedy means that it was unplanned, where a parent dies. And so one parent is picking up the pieces, maybe on their own or perhaps with a new partner, a new stepfather, a new stepmother, and that like. So we know it can be done because we've seen it before. And yes, no one really knows when anyone would die. There are people, I was watching a video yesterday of a couple, they're both 103 years old, and they have lots of children in their family. So it's not a plan to the negative, it's a plight for the positive when you think about the growth and development of these relationships and these children that can potentially come about. So, yeah, there are different aspects. There's a lot of things that need to be considered. But in fairness, it's really none of the business of anybody not in that relationship. So, first of all, when it comes to a younger woman who wants to have a child with an older man, why again? I mean, there's a lot of reasons as to why a younger woman would want to be with an old man. An old man, that's what he is. But she also has to consider, like, as he continues to develop into age, she might become a caregiver. Now, she could become a caregiver and she has a child. So now she's got like two children. And one is potentially disabled because it's an older man and the challenges in that realm. But the other side of it is she's looking beyond that. See, the other side of love allows you to deal with anything. You're almost bulletproof. And that's what this channel is all about. It's the other side of the negativity because we spend so much of time on the negativity and the world just presents the negative to you all the time. So how about we just focus on what's not seen unless you can get to the other side? So there's stability. Yeah, the man's lived a good life. He's stable. What woman doesn't want stability? You want stability even in a younger man. You're going to marry a younger man that's fly by night, that's up and down, that's left and right, in the middle, out. I mean, come on now. You want a man that's actually going to be able to be there for you. Stability means a lot of things. You're protected. He's going to protect you. Stability means a lot of things. But most women that I talk to, that I have interviewed about age gap relationships, mention one huge dynamic. They're with the man, and it wasn't a pursuit. It was just friends getting together, maybe at work, maybe at a business meeting, maybe somewhere. They just connected. She took note of his experience in life, his storytelling. Remember, women are always attracted by what they hear, and men, we're attracted by what we see. So it makes sense that if a man sees a young, beautiful woman, he should be attracted to her. If he's normal, he will be, but then he can also keep that in place for, the benefit of himself and whatever relationship that he's venturing to go into. And the same with the woman. Men sometimes tell women what they want to hear, but see, a discerning woman knows the difference. So you just can't be in victim mode and just listen to every nice, wonderful thing a man says. You've got to also pay attention to his actions. And that's where the experience comes in that she's focusing on. And she's thinking about who's also going to be the best partner for her with this children. And in some age gap relationships, the older partner is very open to the idea of having children because they understand that despite the age, This is about the human race continuing on also. This is about the growth of a community. This is about growth of a family. This is about a legacy. This is about a name being left behind. So there's some dynamics that just keep piling up to the positive. And all these things, all these factors influence the decisions that need to be made, including this desire for a new family. This is newfound love. And also considering that as the future closes in, we have that expression, once a man, twice a baby, meaning babies are taken care of by their parents in the beginning, and then older men, older women, as we get older, we're then taking care of our children or other people. So once a man, twice a child. Now she might have two children or two people to take care of as he gets older, and less time with the younger one because now the younger one can assist her. I mean, it's just understanding that. And then some people, like some of my friends, are very negative about age gap relationships. I mean, vehemently negative. They say it's not fair because as the man gets older, it's the other side of love. If you don't really know what love is, you don't get this. You will never understand an age gap relationship if you don't understand love. If you understand age gap relationships, not saying that you would be a part of it, then you must have an amazing relationship with your equal partner in age. I mean, really, I think about people like that because I know I have friends both sides of the spectrum. I have friends on both sides of the spectrum. They have very amazing relationships. When I mean amazing relationships, they're just not sticking together. They want to be together. The thoughts of not being together has never drifted within their mindset. And so, because they are open and understand the other side of love, and they fought to make this relationship work, they understand all types of relationship. It's only the people who don't understand love that generally don't understand age gap love. If you don't understand age gap love, you don't understand love, then you probably don't understand the relationship you're in right now. I mean, it's just how it works. Love is love. Love overcomes obstacles. Love navigates. Love allows couples to work together and to move forward together. So yeah, there's some things that are challenging when it comes to age gap relationships. The concerns are there. I mean, they're real concerns. People getting older. Babies need support. And how much energy is the man going to have? So you got a woman, you have to choose the right man that's going to give you the energy and the necessities. I mean, I remember when my kids, I've got quite a few kids. I've got four biological children and raised one stepson. And I can remember at night, it just made sense to me that I would be up at night. It wasn't every night, and it wasn't every night for her. But I was teaching my children how to go to sleep. So I would just get up because it was tough for my wife, I would remember. And I would just say to each one of my children, I would say their name and say, okay, when they were crying, I would say, it's okay, it's time to go to sleep. It's time to go to sleep. They're crying. Ah, it's time to go to sleep. And when they went to sleep, I stopped saying it. And then when they woke up and started, I would get up again and it's time to go to sleep. About 4 months, all my children were sleeping through the night. All of my children. And that was something I had read in one of my older sister's psychology books about that type of pattern and how it just calms the child. You can't be like, and you don't want to pick them up because you want them to be able to become independent without you. So there are many benefits there, many challenges, and you need a partner that may be willing to make those sacrifices from themselves to do these good things. But then yet they're just some older parents, some older partners that say, "Look, I already raised my kids. I already raised my kids." I mean, I think about that, and I'm of the notion, what's wrong with keep having children? Me, I like children. I'm 55. I want more kids. I have no one to have kids with now, but I mean, if I had an opportunity to have more children, I would have more children. Children are awesome. And to put them in the right environment with two loving parents, and then you teach them values that they are able to pass on to their children and within their community. Children are blessings from God. They truly, truly, truly are. So the flip side is that the man says, look, from previous experiences, it didn't go well. Maybe he didn't have a good time. Maybe he doesn't have good relationships with his children, which is why he doesn't want to create more children because he thinks he's just not good at being a father. All these are factors that need to be considered with your partner, because if he's not good at it, he's not good at it. Or if he's not comfortable. Some people just are not comfortable with children. And the weird part about all of that is once upon a time we were all children. So maybe they were never comfortable with themselves. And so they're not comfortable with children. They have needs. They don't know how to cater to needs because they were never taught to cater to their own needs and to be giving to themselves. So the thing that's probably the most important part to this discussion is the communication that you need to have with your partner, with your husband, with your wife. Y'all need to talk. Effective communication and compromise, that's what's going to make this family work, because it's got to be compromise in there. Because look, you might be retired. I mean, what happens with grandparents all the time? They retire, and guess who they have in their company? The grandchildren. So maybe it's a situation where the man is actually better equipped. You can, I mean, imagine it. Imagine this ideal scenario. So the younger woman, for right reasons, is with an older man who retires. Let's say the 30, 60-year-old. So he's 60, he's retired. They don't have to worry about money. So he can put that energy he has, along with her energy that she has, into the child and developing a family. Now, I've seen families like this many times. I've got friends right around me right now who may watch this YouTube live, and they are retired and they have children. I think that is amazing, because work gets in the way. Work separates people. The man is gone or the woman is gone. They're both gone, separated themselves away from each other. They've got children. Guess what? One is away from, I mean, guess who raises children today? Daycare and television. See, back in the old days, people worked on their farm. They were there with the kids. They worked in the store. They took the kids, the family, to the store, or the store was in the front of the home and the home was right behind, and it was always close by. Nowadays, people are traveling an hour, 2 hours to get to work, or go from one state to the next state. Or some people have it unique. They work in like 3 or 4 months out of the year, and then they come back home to the family. So that part of the communication, you got to talk about these things. You got to have a plan. You got to plan to succeed so you don't plan to fail. But age is always going to be a crucial part to the relationship. So age gap relationships, yeah, they work. They work. They may have differences in life goals, but all of this comes out in the discussion. Know what your partner wants. Find the common ground. So find the common ground. If you want to grow a family, just realize that as a younger woman, the likelihood is you'll be there a lot longer with your child solo than both parents being there together. So that's really what we wanted to talk about, just to bring some awareness and some consciousness to the idea of a younger woman having a baby with a man twice her age. So very, very good. So more information is always available on this. You can talk to your family members. It's always good to talk to clinical psychologists. These are responsible avenues to take, because you want to put both people in the same place where they're getting a journal of good information and nobody making decisions on their own. So, in conclusion, don't forget that tomorrow we'll be right here again at 7:30 a.m. for another YouTube live. And you know what we're going to be discussing? Why age gap relationships work. We talk a lot about age gap relationships on this channel. Let's talk about why they work, the benefits, the positive, all positive with regards to this relationship. So we want to thank you for joining us today. And again, don't forget tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. So before we go, let's always remember that, excuse me, I'm still dealing with this cold this week. Actually, it's not a cold, it's an allergy, but I'm going to get over it. But let's just remember that love knows no boundaries. Age gap relationships can thrive if both partners are committed and communicate effectively. I'm telling you, listen to me. If you're in an age gap relationship, you need to be a talker. You've got to talk. People can't read your mind. And if they do, they're going to read it wrong. And for the success of that relationship, you need them to read it right. So make sure that you're talking, whether you're in these relationships or not, you're curious. We hope that this discussion has been a valuable insight for you. Until the next time, stay tuned, stay curious, and remember this, because love conquers all. Again, my name is Marvin Kane. I have been your host. I've been your guide on this journey, and love is not judgmental. Thanks again. We'll see you again in 23 hours and 30 minutes.